Well, a case washed from Hollywood to Wall Street, finally getting some closure for now. A judge tossing out a competence lawsuit from Sumner Redstone's former girlfriend. Redstone is a closely watched media mogul since he is the controlling shareholder of Viacom and CBS. Sir Martin Sorrell is with us this morning. Your wife sits on the board of directors, right. So I know that
get all the ground
you're going to be guarded here. But let's talk about this for a second. What's your takeaway on this Viacom story? Here's a 92-year-old guy still yielding such power.
Well, I mean, it's a controlled management structure. I mean, controlled ownership structure, which I actually think is the best structure. Going back to what we were saying, linking it to what we were saying, companies that take the long-term view, actually, ironically, are those companies where you get controlled structures. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, another very good example of that. When Zuckerberg put in this new structure where it has 3 layers of stock to maintain control, he said, it enables me to take the long-term view. The problem is that these structures can go on for too long. And this Viacom is an example of this, where you have 2 companies, CBS and Viacom, controlled by Sumner Redstone, and there are questions being raised as to the viability of that, given his age and given his medical condition, although the judge has dismissed the Hertzer suit.
Right. They challenged the mental competency of him, and the judge said, no, we're throwing it out. It looks like his daughter, Shari, wins here.
Yes, and she now has control of his health, right? I think Philippe Doman had control of that, and now that's been moved to Shari. So I guess the family will decide in the long term what happens to the 2 companies.
So as an investor slash, outsider, what do you take away from a company where he's got the control of both companies, CBS and Viacom?
If you would ask me, do I think that CBS or Viacom are buys? As a buy, so I would say both are a buys, but that's a personal view as to the value that the stock market is putting on them. In other words, I would think these ownership issues or control issues have overshadowed what the economic worth of those 2 companies are. Now, CBS is doing well. You saw their latest results. They're doing well. Viacom, I think, probably is, the prospects are underrated. I mean, the prospects of the company are much stronger. People don't focus on Viacom's non-US business. They have a strong business in the UK. They just bought Channel 5 in the UK.
That's a great point.
They have a very big business in India as well. They have one of in fact, they had the leading station there for many, many years, and it's still one of the top stations in India. So they have strong overseas interests as well. And as you know, there are with the exception of the owner of this particular
well, media companies in general
there are very few global companies.
Okay.
And actually, Viacom actually does have some significant foreign earnings and assets. So having said that, I think the position has been overstressed in relation to.
But Martin, haven't they left the succession, murky for way too long? I mean, that's irresponsible.
Well, but irresponsible. I mean, at the end of the day, the Redstone family and the Redstone owner controls the company. It's up to him and his family as to what they do or they don't do. They pay the price. If you're right, they pay the biggest price. They control the company. They have the most significant economic interest. At the end of the day, they have to make that decision.
What's your take on advertising right now? Obviously, the Democratic advertising blitz is awaiting the GOP's Trump.
Well,
what are you expecting? This election year is going to be huge for the ad.
If Donald Trump can raise $1 billion to fund his campaign, which I think you say he will be able to, then we're going to have a blitz of advertising like we've probably never seen in the context of. Well, both pro and for, because you'll have super PACs in support of him. You'll have his own campaign. You'll have Hillary spending a similar amount, or super PACs behind her as well. So you'll have a bean fest in terms of advertising as we go through the season. And every 4 years, we have an Olympic Games. We're going to have a wonderful Olympics in Rio, despite the stresses and strains there. We're going to have a presidential election, and we have a football tournament that's going on in France, in Europe. So those 3 events, what we call the maxi quadrennials, augur a good market. It will tighten the media markets here, and as you say, we'll have very strong presidential advertising campaigns.
Sounds like you're in the right business, Martin.
At the moment, it's a tough business, Maria. It's not easy at the moment.
Martin Sorrell joining us this morning. Good to see you. Thank you so much, CEO, Chairman, WPP.